It's a bowl of pasta. More specifically, it is trofie, a short, twisted variety of pasta made of durum wheat. So a decent amount of fructans are lurking in there. I've also massaged a generous serving of pesto sauce into this dish, which is full of garlic, and also a couple of dollops of ricotta to make it really rich. This is definitely a FODMAP packed meal with fructan and lactose. Because I can eat it all from this bowl, I'd recommend sprinkling a dose of FODZYME all over the meal. I like to tap at my little FODZYME scoop so as to help evenly distribute the powder. And so it kind of looks like this now. And then I'd recommend mixing it in if you can. This way we can choose some enzyme into nearly every bite. And while this is not strictly necessary because our stomach will, after all, mix it all up, but it definitely doesn't hurt to give the enzymes a head start, especially in a meal that is so high in fructan. Speaking of meals that are particularly high in FODMAPs, I wanted to touch on dosing in just a bit. The right dose for you for a particular meal depends on how sensitive you are to that particular food and how much of it, how dense in FODMAPs that meal is, which obviously fluctuates from meal to meal. A standard dose of FODZYME was designed to be sufficient for most users and most typical meals. However, sometimes folks are more or less sensitive and need more or less FODZYME. It's perfectly fine to use a higher dose or a lower dose. If you need a higher dose because you need an extra boost of enzymatic activity, again, that's no need to worry because the enzymes are just proteins themselves that get digested and they won't stay in your system. Similarly, if you suspect or know that a particular meal is very high in FODMAPs, you may want to increase your dosage to accommodate for the FODMAP intensity. In my case, I know that generally garlic and onion are among some of the ingredients most dense in fructan, and this dish is super garlicky. So I like to go ahead and sprinkle a second dose. Be careful though, because garlic taste, a strong garlic taste doesn't always correspond with the actual fructan content. That's because the flavor comes from compounds produced in garlic like allicin and not from the fructan itself. So some garlic powders are dehydrated via a high heat method. In fact, most garlic powders out there are done that way, and they lose a lot of pungency, but they're still packed with fructan, and they might be used more liberally in a food item. So take that into consideration when you read garlic powder or onion powder on an ingredients list. It may not taste as strong as meals cooked with, say, fresh garlic or freeze-dried garlic or onion, but it could be even higher in fructan content. So now that I've applied FODZYME on and into my fructan-filled meal, I will pass it over to my co-founder, David, and I will dig in.